Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the General Hospital recap for June 18th through the 21st, 2024. We didn't really have any Port Charles pipelines other than, well, no, we didn't really have any that like pertain to just like our show, but one to the show in general. And it was Teresa Lupo asked if we knew what and this was early on when the General Hospital ABC page posted, General Hospital does not tolerate hatred or bigotry of any kind. Racism has no place in Port Charles. GH is for everyone. And apparently, and this is kind of why we don't really do a lot on social media, guys. I guess people have been super nasty to Tabanya Ali on Twitter, like horrible.
That's horrible.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess she posted something a couple weeks ago about, you know, how can you really think this about she wasn't even like really addressing them. She's like, I need you to like go take a walk, like go get some sun, like actually pay attention to what's going on in the world, you know, not just sitting behind your computer, tearing apart a 20-something-year-old. So like, that was just really, really, it had to have been obviously really bad if
GH came out with a statement, like,
right.
That's crazy.
But I guess there was a bunch of other, cast members that came out in support of her and everything. So it was nice, I guess, to see them.
Yeah, I expect nothing less from them, but it's nice that they are supporting one of their own. But
yeah,
I just don't understand why people have to get caught up in all that. If it bothers you, then just don't watch.
Right. It survived 60 years so far, 61 years so far.
Right.
You know, people have quit watching for a variety of reasons and it's still here. And I don't know. The show will survive if that's your reason to not want to watch it.
Right.
And then this upcoming Thursday, we're going to do part 7 of Lila. We're going to talk more we're going to finish her memoirs, find out what is the secret that they are trying to hide.
It's a good one.
It is. And then we have our Hulu headlines. It was funny. So I am recording outside today, but I'm using Zoom. But then last week we used a different program and it picked up everything.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh no.
So just so everyone knows, we recorded part 7 of Lila last week. So
yeah, if you get some
extra, if you can hear it then, you're going to hear it now.
Well, then they all know that we are serious about your neighbor out doing stuff. And
guess what? So that was Father's Day. And that night he came out. I don't think he saw me because I was down like on the side getting water for my flowers.
Uh-huh.
And he hopped up on the fence and starts yelling across the yard for JD. He's never done that. Like he is not the, hey, what's going on, neighbor? Like,
yeah.
Just nice, but that's not him.
Right.
And I look up and he's holding a card and inside the card is a little black and white photo.
Aww.
And he's like, I just got this for Father's Day. He's like, I just wanted to let you know in case you saw me crying on my like outback. And I'm like, you're gonna be great. It's his first, so he's gonna be
so sweet.
And that's what he got for Father's Day.
That is.
And I'm like, okay, that's what he was leaf blowing and cutting grass and stuff for, was because they were having like a little. Well, and that's the thing. Like we were talking about it, and I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen him actually entertain.
Yeah.
But like he was hosting something for Father's Day. And it's like, okay, that's fine. You know, whatever.
That's very sweet.
Bye. It is very. Okay. So Hulu headlines on, I'm sorry. It was June 17th through 21st, not 18th. On Monday, Carly is suspicious. Drew makes an announcement. Nina gets a thrilling invitation. Alexis confronts Finn. Cody gets food for thought. On Tuesday, Anna accepts an invitation. John throws Jason for a loop. Cody and Sasha get closer. We just like put their relationship on a fast track.
Right.
And Scott confers with Lucy. Sam makes a request of Carly. On Wednesday, Max Scorpio returns. Cody confides in Tracy. Stella encourages Chase. Alexis gets big news. Natalia and Sonny bond. Brooklyn ponders her options. Thursday, Carly warns Jason. Sam is livid. Finn lashes out. Nina confides in Maxie. And Gio learns more about Trina. And then on Friday, Jason faces a big decision. Carly makes a shocking realization. Maxie and Spinelli are concerned. Sam is on the warpath. And Tracy fields an emergency. So where do you want to get started?
Whew.
I have 3 pages. I feel like this week was a heavy one.
Oh, okay. So I'll get started kind of like middle week of Nina being invited to Willow's birthday party because she just happens to show up at the Metro Court because she needs to see Drew. And
That was Monday.
Was that Monday?
Yeah, because Nina showed up as, sorry. So I think that Monday ended with them doing the surprise, and then Tuesday was, sorry.
Okay, no, you're what
I have it. Well, no, because I have it as my very first note is Willow's surprise party.
Okay,
So it had to have been.
Yeah, I think they did open like with her. Oh, surprise! Blah blah blah. But I don't know that Nina got there till the next like day of the show. But
I think that's how they ended. Was Drew? Her asking Drew, like,
okay,
do you think you can help me get in there or something? Whatever it was that she said.
Right. So how many times, Nina, do you need to deceive your daughter before you understand that honesty is like her number one thing?
Yeah.
When she finds out that you and Drew are working together, it's going to ruin her relationship with Drew, and she's never going to give you another chance again.
Well, she knows they're working together. She doesn't know they're hooking up.
No, I mean working together like to convince her to have a relationship with Nina. Like
manipulate her. It's manipulation. That's the word you're looking for, is manipulation.
Right. Whenever she finds that out, she's gonna cut them both loose. Like she's not a young girl anymore who needs guidance or help. Like she's making a wrong decision. She is a strong, independent woman who made the choices that she made not to have Nina in her life because of all the bad things that Nina did before. And now she's trying to go ahead and forge a relationship anyway, and it's all based on manipulation and lies.
Yep.
I don't get it. Like she is so kind and loving and trying to be understanding. Like really, Nina couldn't just have sent her a birthday card and then got a thank you back and then been like, hey, if you're receptive, why don't we do lunch one day this week or whatever. It's not like she's friends other than Curtis. It's not like she's friends with a bunch of people at that party anyway. She should have felt awkward because 90% of the people there hate you.
Right. Well, and what did she say? She said that she can put up with Drew as long as Willow can put up with her.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know.
And they're making it sound like Drew is doing this for her because they're sleeping together. Like, I'm sorry, Drew is a very attractive man. He does not need like pity hookups. Okay. You're not sleeping with him because this is now some way to have something over him. That's just a mutual, we're 2 adults and we're deciding to spend time together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Very annoyed with that whole storyline. Grateful that Maxie was like, are you serious? Like, what are you doing? Kind of calling her out. Like, we've all grown past this. Why are you still manipulating?
And we're all younger than you. So why are you still doing this?
Yeah.
But yeah. And then Willow and Chase talked about how everything's worked out for the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's very big at Chase. You know?
Right. She's like, you were the first person my heart fell in love with of its own free will. And I was waiting for him to be like, yeah, I like how you treated me.
Right.
But okay.
And then she and Sasha caught up and they were talking about Cody. And then I think Cody came over and asked Sasha something, or Sasha asked him for something. And he said, as you wish. And all I could think was like all the 80s girls are probably like freaking out right now because that's Wesley. And that's like all we wanted growing up. So,
and then Drew announced officially, she like handed over her birthday party to him and was like, go ahead, make your big announcement. And he gave a speech about how he's running for Congress and how he's going to tell everyone because he already has money, he doesn't need their money. And that means that he can make the world a better place.
So let's just unpack this whole situation here. So first of all, Esplanade is the new flash drive. We're just saying it every other word now because they're like, what's the difference between a promenade and an Esplanade? And it's like, is this really like birthday party conversation? Drew announces his candidacy. Where did I miss that he's changing his name?
They told him that. They told him that earlier. We didn't know that he had actually filed for it until we saw him talking to Michael. But the campaign. That's
what I'm asking. Because I'm like, I don't remember.
Yeah. No, the congressman, when he told the congressman that yes, he was going to go ahead and run for it, the congressman said you probably should look into changing your name.
Right, absolutely, and that's what we've been talking about. But then
we never.
When did he actually? He never told the Quartermains, "Hey, I'm going to change my name."
Right,
like, he never did any of that.
I wouldn't mind if somehow you and I could have the same last name, and you wanted to change it to my last name. I would not mind, except for if I found out about it from an attorney instead of from you.
Maybe. I mean, technically, I could just go walk down and change it for whatever reason I felt like.
True. But if it was a family name, I would feel like you'd be like, oh, hey, by the way, I decided to change my last name back to, or this is a more prominent name for my real estate business. So I'm going to go ahead and change it to your name and not have an attorney to be like, somehow she has the same bloodline. So yeah, she decided to change her name to yours.
Right. Exactly. So he's going to change his name to Quartermain. Willow says that his opponent, she says something about how Drew's going to make such a shakeup because unlike his opponent, who, unless you are a straight white male billionaire, isn't that Drew? He's a straight white male billionaire who is changing his unknown last name. So even if Kane does not have money, he is changing his name so that he gives the appearance of being a billionaire Quartermain.
Right.
So how's he different?
Right.
Did I miss that?
Nope.
That's almost actually worse that he's changing to give the appearance of.
That's what I think. Like, I would have respect if I didn't know the last name. I'm assuming that you, and again, all assumptions, which you shouldn't make, but in the voting world, that's pretty much most of what you're doing. So I'm assuming that since you have an unknown last name, that you have like worked your way up and this like matters to you. And you've been one of the little people that now you're going to fight for us, blah, 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 blah. You changed your mind to, in our area, like Carnegie or whatever. I would be like, meh, no, you just like bought your spot. I really don't know, which again is awful.
But if you intentionally change your name to it.
Right.
You are using the name to get, it's not like you just happen to be born into that name. But how many people do that where they don't change their name, or they do change the name away from being associated with the popular name because they don't want the nepotism that goes with it.
Yep.
But he said that he's running for the 28th congressional district. New York's 28th congressional district is an obsolete congressional district for the United States House of Representatives. Before becoming obsolete in 2013, the district was based in Rochester, Buffalo, and Niagara Falls. And it also includes parts of Erie, Monroe, Niagara, and Orleans counties.
Oh, okay.
So it used to be a district, but it isn't anymore.
Well, then he's sure to win.
Right? Well, no, I just meant that's funny that they actually picked a district that, it was once a thing.
Right.
And now it's not. But yeah, I at least wish we had tiptoed into this, where maybe Drew's getting dissatisfied in a corporate world and he starts doing like more volunteering or more, like community involvement. And then somebody sees, not just, hey, you're kind of hot. You should run. I'm dying of cancer. You're good looking. You want my seat?
Right.
Oh, wait, you took Jordan Ashford's ideas and you're presenting them to me? Wait until Willow's mind explodes on that one, because why isn't this Black woman being listened to instead of this single white straight male billionaire?
Right.
I hope that it comes to that. I really do hope that Jordan's like, excuse me, like those are my ideas.
Right.
I am the woman behind the curtain.
Right. At least give me credit, like we were on the same board, like discussing these ideas or something. He just completely stole them.
Yeah.
And it would be a sad thing, but although it happens in the real world, for him to be like, listen, they're just not going to listen to a Black woman. So here I'm going to help get your ideas where they need to be.
Right.
But have that conversation with you. Like, she already called
He's
you out
not.
once. Yeah, she already said once, like, these are my ideas. And then you just keep pressing forward, like, oh, yeah, don't mind. I stole your ideas.
Right. Darn it, it's getting windy. I'm going to have to go inside.
I don't hear it talking to you, but obviously that doesn't mean that the recording's not getting it.
No, it's getting windy and the rain's coming in. Oh, it's raining here. So if it's not raining where you are, it's going to be in a minute. Oh, and somebody has a power tool. That makes sense. All right. Hold, please, while I
relocate.
Thank you. I'm like, what is that word I'm looking for? Oh, yeah. I guess I could share that during reality check, too, that my my backyard fiasco from this week. All right. Anyway, back to whatever it was that we were talking about. I think we're in the process of changing subjects anyway.
I was going to say, I think I'm done complaining about Drew.
Yeah.
Move on.
I just don't care about it. It doesn't make sense the same way that Laura made sense.
Right.
Or even Ned when he decided that he wanted to run for mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was at least lead up to it. Oh, Carly told Jason about Drew running for Congress and was like, hey, so you might want to get your stuff taken care of because if it comes out again, how do you think Monica's going to feel if to have the AJ Jason thing all over the front page again? And it's like, is that really going to be, though? Have they learned nothing from the Kennedys?
Right. I feel like you should dig up just Drew information, not Quartermain information. Like, that goes way too far back in way too many directions.
Yeah.
But again, another reason that Drew shouldn't be changing his name.
Mm-hmm.
But then that led Jason to go to Anna and be like, listen, we need to get this all tidied up because I don't want distractions from Drew running to then throw off what we're doing. And Kate's is at the point where he just wants to have an answer and be done. And he's looking into the wrong person because he announced this week that it's Anna who's running Pikeman. And Jason's like, no, it's not, but I can't tell you who because Anna's playing what game? I don't understand.
Well, I guess Valentine might be now framing her. Like,
okay, so you think you're pretty positive that this person is framing you and been lying to you for years. So it's probably a good idea to go to their house alone and let them leave the room and pour you a drink.
I think that was intentional because notice how drunk she kind of was very quickly. But she also did the same thing with Faison. That's part of her past, though. She's playing into Valentine thinking she's reciprocating.
But Faison was obsessed with her and a bad guy. Like, these were two different personality traits of his. Valentine is just, I'm sorry to break your heart, but a bad guy at this point.
I am really just not happy about this whole thing.
I understand.
We talked about this.
Yes.
There is no one that could be really happy about this because a year ago, 6 months ago, this would not have been happening.
Right. But it is happening. And he's setting her up. Like, I'm sorry. Again, if I found out that you were setting me up for something, I would not come over the next day and just be like, oh, sure, serve me some alcohol. I trust you to not poison me and kill me.
So the issue is that Kate says that he found emails between Brennan and Anna for the past 5 years.
Right.
So she thinks that it's Valentine. What if it's actually Brennan setting her up?
I think Valentine would know about it. And it does seem like Brennan's kind of pulling out of it. So maybe it was Brennan's idea to begin with.
Maybe.
But it feels like Valentine's continuing it.
Brennan better have, there has to be a good reason why Valentine's doing all this. I don't know.
I hope for your sake that there is, because I know that you're heartbroken. So it would be nice if he had something major on Valentine from a gazillion years ago, or even something on Anna that Valentine is trying to protect her from, kind of like the same way that Jason's protecting Carly. But
yeah, but Carly did do those things. So Valentine had her over. They had the glass of wine, but then while he was going to get first of all, now if he had said, I need to go do the finishing touches on a coq au vin, which is one of my favorite dishes. So I was like, go make that for me. Yes, then perhaps you have some time to be rummaging. Pouring a glass of wine does not take that long.
Nope.
And he comes out and is like, well, did you find what you were looking for? And she's like, oh, I was just looking at your book titles. Aren't they all interesting?
I
I'm like,
laughed
yes,
because
I
I
know.
thought of you. I thought if Shannon ever gets caught doing something she's not supposed to be doing, that's going to be her cover up, and people actually may believe her.
That actually just might be what I get stuck doing or caught doing those. Like, no, seriously, I was just looking at all your different books. Sorry. Also, sidetrack. I'm sure that I'm not the only one that does this, but like I take pictures of books and like things that I want to remember to read or to whatever. And I accidentally took some at a museum one time that we weren't supposed to be taking pictures.
Oh, did you get kicked out?
No, but I got told to put my phone away, and I was like, okay, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I was legit just wanting to remember these books. Yeah. Anyway, and then Jason peeks in. I mean, he and her did not have an agreement where she was going to seduce him and Jason was going to be searching the house while that was happening, right?
Nope, not that we saw.
Because he peeked in, saw them making out on the couch, and like kind of held back and was like, oh, why?
Right. Like, I just don't understand her tactics. And it seems like, her integrity is compromised. Like, she does still like Valentine, so she's not following the protocol she would follow if it was a normal person.
I don't even know if it's so much that she still likes him as she doesn't want to believe that she was that stupid to have loved him. He said that he still loves her. Thankfully, he threw in there after Charlotte.
Right.
So I don't know.
I mean, I totally get the regret of looking at someone and wondering how you loved them. Then they're done that. But you don't just keep going with it. Like, when you know they're just bad, they're just bad. Like, move forward from it and quit playing the game.
But in the meantime, Sam got Spinelli to finally get information off of the FBI's. I guess before that, Sam had gone to Carly mother to mother asking if she can help keep Jason away from Danny. And Carly said exactly what you and I have been saying is, then why did you try so hard to have his baby if you didn't want him to be their father? And it's like, oh, yes. But then she said something about Jason isn't the man that she thought he could be. No, you need to actually have the baby with the one that he is right now.
Right.
Which was a mobster. And then she does the low blow of saying she doesn't want him to wind up like Morgan, which I can't understand that happening, shifting your thought. Then that should have been the first thing you said.
Right. I think she was just trying to be a jerk.
Yeah. Because then in the meantime, Spinelli's trying to get stuff off of the FBI files. And then Sam loses her mind because he didn't do this for anything other than Carly. He would have done the same exact thing if it was Sam.
Yep.
Hands down.
Yep. But she wants him to love her more.
And then says that he lied to her. And so she brought the recording to Carly.
Right. And Carly's like, I had no idea. I would have never told him to do this for me. Oh my gosh. Like, I have to see what I can do to help get him out of this because we are best friends. And I would never have wanted him to make this sacrifice for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Sam goes back to Spinelli and is like, oh, she honestly seemed shocked. Of course she was. Like, we do know that Carly loves Jason enough. As much as she loves that he gets her out of trouble, she would not ask him to sacrifice 2.5 years of his life for her.
Well, also, she was obviously surprised that he was alive.
Right. I don't know what they're doing to Sam, but they're just making her awful. I don't like it. And like, even Spinelli was then concerned, like, what did Carly say? Is she concerned that these charges are going to be brought against her now? Right. Blah, blah, blah. And Sam's like, who cares about Carly? I just want to sit here and whine about how my kids didn't have a dad for 2 years, blah, 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 blah. Like, go yell at Jason. He's the one that made the choice. It wasn't Carly or Spinelli's fault.
Right. Why didn't she go talk to Jason and say, hey, so Spinelli and I were just doing some digging because, private investigators here and found this. You want to tell me what's up?
Right.
Have it out with him, not with Carly.
Exactly. I just don't understand why it even mattered if Carly knew. I mean, I would assume that that she didn't because, like you said, she was shocked that he was still alive. But even if you thought that she did know, why does that matter? It was Jason's choice at the end of the day.
I could understand being mad about the fact that if Carly knew, she was letting his kids suffer.
But I feel like Carly would still have been like, no, don't do that. And if Jason wanted to, he would have. He doesn't listen to Carly any better than he listens to Sam.
Right. What else?
I'm trying to think, was there anything else with that storyline?
I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
But then there was, Portia told Liz that Finn was cutting his family leave short and coming back to work. And I am very glad to hear that Portia took that friend information from before and kept it in the friend file and not.
Right.
But then Liz was like, I am telling you that Dr. Finn. So I'm really glad. I liked that change of name too, you know, and
it's compromised. I don't think you want him practicing here right now.
She said, you know, FMLA covers rehab.
Yep.
You guys need to try to get him to go. And so Portia and Teri call him in when he gets back to work, and he can practice, but he has to be supervised and has to be checked in on. And he loses his mind and says, like, he's going to take the hospital down if they try to take him down and ruin his reputation. They got $10 million from when he sold his patent, and that's the whole reason that the hospital's even still operating. And then he quits and then sees Liz and tells her to stay away from Violet.
Yep.
Oof.
And she's like, you made me guardian of her. What do you mean stay away? And he's like, that was obviously a mistake. And then he storms off, which again, like, don't do stuff through the courts if you don't want it to stick, because whenever she goes back and says, I want to exercise these rights because he is drunk and unable to take care of her, they're going to say, oh, sober Finn chose her, so she must be a good person. You don't get to change your mind now whenever you're under the influence.
And everyone's going to have her back.
Yep.
You know, I know I said it last week, but I'm really glad how much they're all just really focused on fighting for Violet and not, obviously they're concerned for him. She's asking him to go to rehab, but ultimately Violet's safety is first, which we found out to be completely warranted because she had gone on a swim date with Georgie. They had a great time. James is like, can Violet please sleep over? Maxie's like, no, I have to get her home by 7. I don't understand why they didn't walk Violet in.
Right?
Like, they opened the door. Tell your dad I said hi. Thanks, Kyle. But Finn, after he had quit, went home and started drinking, woke up choking, decided to drink again, smashed a glass, cut his hand, passed out. And poor little Violet found him and thankfully picked up his phone. I was surprised she didn't call 911, but if anyone's ever missed a phone call on their screen, typically the first thing that pops up is a missed call. She knows who Tracy is. So she called Tracy back. And Tracy,
I was surprised that she didn't turn around instantly and yell back out the door for the doorman.
Right.
I mean, I'm glad that Tracy showed up, and I loved the interaction between her and Tracy, and then Tracy and Chase, and how that all went. But it would have made more sense if the doorman would have been like, oh, okay, here's your dad's phone. Like, who can we call? And her be like, oh, yeah, Tracy, she's on the top there. Call her.
Right. Or the fact that Maxie knows something's up. You know,
right.
Maxie
she still didn't.
Maxie doesn't know that he's drinking, though, right?
She doesn't know that he's drinking. She just picked up on all the times that Violet was like, my dad needs me. My dad will miss me. My dad,
right.
my dad.
Right. Because she was like, she's taking on a lot of this, you know?
Yeah.
So you would think that Maxie would at least say, hey, you know, can you just like make sure everything's okay? She seems like really.
Right. And we know that one mom that picked Violet up from school the one day, she walked her all the way up to the door. So obviously it's not like you're not allowed in the building or whatever.
Well, Kyle walked her to the door, just didn't look on the other side of it.
Right. Like, let's make sure your dad's home before I leave you here. But I just mean,
right.
As a mom.
Right. It's an apartment, not a house. You don't see his car in the front yard, like in the front drive. Yeah,
exactly. As a mom, I would be like, let me just walk you up to your door to make sure that your dad's home and you're all good.
Yep.
Although I don't know, I've never lived in a fancy building with a doorman. So maybe you do get that kind of relationship where he just walks the kids up.
Oh, was that the doorman? I thought that was like a driver.
Oh, it was a doorman.
Oh, okay.
That was my impression anyway. Why would it be a driver? Maxie drove her home.
Why did she get home? Did she though?
Yeah. She said
Maxie would have gone up to
That's
walk
what
her
I'm
to the
saying. Is
door.
it was
Yeah,
weird that she didn't go up to the door, but yeah, she did because Spinelli asked if everything was okay, and she was like, "Yeah, it was a normal car ride home. I just picked up on the fact that she continued being concerned about her dad whenever
Okay.
we were here." So
I'm just so used to everyone else having drivers, I guess, that I just automatically went to
like,
driver, not
do you have
doorman.
a driver I don't know about? Because yeah, no, there
No,
was no driver.
I don't. But so yeah, so then Tracy brings Violet over to Chase and Brooklyn, and they're doing so good with her.
I know.
And then Chase is like, I'm going to go with you. And Tracy's like, nope, I need to tell him things that you're not going to be allowed to get away with.
Right.
And when Tracy got there, she tried to wake him up, kicked him. He wouldn't budge. And so she took photos of everything.
Yep.
And then got his smelling salts, which I could be wrong about this. I thought that they did away with smelling salts because I thought that if you actually are passed out, that if they jerk you the wrong way, that they can actually cause damage. I could be wrong.
I know they still smell them, still sell them, but I don't know if they use them on the ambulances still.
Well, it wasn't an ambulance. It was Tracy got it out of his medical bag.
Yeah.
Out of his doctor's bag.
Right.
So, but yeah, so she did call 911 and they really gave her a horrible attitude, especially considering that there was a child there.
Right.
You know, and I just feel like, yes, obviously you cannot just call the police if someone is drunk, but she wasn't there. The little girl said, I think my dad's dead.
Right. And that he had a cut, which she didn't know how bad the cut was.
Right. So.
And they get so many nonsense calls that they know how to be more professional with that. Like, yes, they may be thinking in their head, like, this is not an emergency, but they do whatever they do and then they leave. They don't, at least any of them ones that I know, any of the people I know that are in that field aren't disrespectful to the people calling, because you obviously called because you didn't know and you are concerned. Like, even if it was an overreaction, it was an honest mistake overreaction.
Right. That a child prompted.
Right.
So, yeah.
And then,
but before all that, though, Alexis had gone to see him earlier in the week.
Oh,
and I forgot about that she had basically called him out on, all right, well, I'm just going to go check on Violet. And he's like, what the heck did I do? And she's like, no, I just want to make sure she's not listening to us. Right. And then after he has his whole dissertation about, I don't need this, I'm not an alcoholic, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, you want to explain that to Violet? She's standing right there. And the fact that he freaked out.
Yep.
Says that he knows. And then she was like, call me when you hit rock bottom. It's going to be sooner than you think.
Yeah, he was just plain nasty to her.
Yep.
And so then whenever Tracy found him, Tracy took Violet over to Chase's house. And again, Violet was like overly concerned. I can't leave my dad. He's going to want to know where I am, blah, 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 blah. And so she takes her over to Chase's and is like, I should get back to Finn, but you need to take her and go to the Quartermains, because basically he's not going to get past the bodyguards and me at the Quartermains or disturb Violet there. But if he shows up here, he's going to be banging on your door, causing all kind of commotion. So go to the Quartermains. And Brooklyn was so cute. Toast. Yes. And he went to like start over explaining, and Brooklyn's like, nope, just say it's easy to cook.
Well, right. Well, she wants to cook so that she can take care of him.
Yeah, because he looks too run down. He's only eating sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
So it was so cute but sad at the same time. And then that's when Tracy went back over, and tried to wake him up and took all the pictures. But she already had a bag packed for Violet. Like, okay, I'm going to wake you up, and then I'm out the door.
Yep.
I think that was pretty much the end of the Finn stuff for now.
Yep. Oh, Sonny and Brooklyn had talked about it, though, because Brooklyn was talking about, I forget how they got into it, but it was like Brooklyn said that he's like a stranger when he's drunk, or did Violet say that he was a stranger? Because I have a note that says it prevents her from questioning what's wrong with Daddy. Because he was saying something about how like it's probably easier for Violet to not understand, but to just be like, oh, well, when he does this, he's just different. So like, that's not Daddy then.
Right. Yeah, that's what Sonny said. He was like, he's a stranger whenever he's been drinking.
That's it. Yeah. And that's absolutely true until they drink too much. And then the stranger becomes the person that they mostly are.
Right. But Brooklyn went to the pool because Natalia had summoned her to go over the tracks that Blaze had just put down the day that we saw Christina there and stuff. And she actually was like a halfway normal, nice person when she was talking to Sonny about how you could actually see how Blaze's disposition changed whenever Christina walked in the room, and the songs got so much better. Go ahead.
Okay, so have you seen like people speculating stuff? I know we don't do spoilers. This is not a spoiler. I have no fact in this at all.
Okay.
Except for apparently like on the red carpet of the daytime Emmys or like around the daytime Emmys, Frank let it out that a cast member or somebody was coming back.
Okay.
And so then everyone's talking about, well, it can't be Mac because we know he's coming back. You know, not only did the official GH social media show the pictures of John J. York back with the Mac is back t-shirts, like everything.
Mm-hmm.
So what were Sonny and Natalia talking about this week? So this was Wednesday. And I know that this was Wednesday because I hadn't watched yet. And I had a lot of work that I was getting done. And I was like, and so normally GH is my time. And I know that I say like I do administrative stuff like while I'm doing it, but I really don't work while I'm watching. While I was outside, I was like, all right, I can pull up Hulu on my computer and watch it because I had seen a picture that said fans shocked or something by person's return. And the picture was Maxie and Spinelli after what we now know as Mac coming back through the door. And we'll get to that. So I watched because I was like, who would Maxie and Spinelli be shocked coming back? Because again, I'm thinking everyone knows Mac is coming back and he never left. Mac went to Argentina, right? But
right.
He never left the show.
Right. They just wrote his character on an adventure for right now.
Exactly. So he never left. So I'm like, oh my gosh, Frisco's coming back. Okay. So then I'm sitting there just like, like doing my half listen, whatever. And Sonny and Natalia are talking all about this. And Natalia says something about, it sounds like you know what you're talking about. Like, do you know about the music industry? And he says again, which he said about a year ago, that, yeah, you know, I used to work in, I was a silent partner or whatever. And like one of my people, I don't think he said one of my people made it big, but remember last year he did.
He said it was a pretty big deal or something like that this week.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
What is Natalia having a very difficult time accepting?
The fact that her daughter is a lesbian.
Uh-huh. And who was on Sonny's label that at the time would not have been able to come out and has now since in his public life come out.
Ricky Martin?
Yes, he has. It has to be Ricky Martin. It has to. Because then after I heard that and I was like, wait a second, because I was on my Frisco track. And it was funny that they actually wound up mentioning him this week too. But then when I went back and I read what Frank said, he said fans will go crazy for him. Crazy. Loca. Like So I think that Ricky Martin is coming back as Miguel. I'm really curious to see how they're going to change his past love interests because Miguel was very, very much into. But if they have to rewrite history because at the time the actor could not be who he was.
I don't think they'll have to rewrite history. There's lots of gay men who date women because they have a genuine like person to person connection with the woman and they can't be out as their true selves. And
that's what I'm saying is that they're going to have to rewrite that he was never really into them romantically, which we all knew on screen he absolutely was. You know, so I'm okay if they have to rewrite like that sub story because that is actually the actor's truth. That was absolutely 100% at the time.
Right.
You know, and now we're in a place where that's ridiculous. But that's where Natalia is trying to keep them. Yeah. You know,
that would be very exciting. I would be okay with that.
You should see my Marco Polos to Erica over this because she was just downstairs and I was having these epiphanies because I was like, it cannot be Mac. It cannot be Mac. And so then Mac comes back. I go, it's Mac. I'm like, not that I'm mad that Mac's back, but seriously, this is who we're so excited over. And then,
Yeah.
So I think that might have been a little decoy that they did.
That would be nice. I would be all for that.
So I think that Ricky Martin is going to come back. I feel like he's going to be somewhere in the family, like we said earlier when Blaze first came. Like, oh, wouldn't it be great? She's musical. Wouldn't it be great if someone in her family? And didn't she say something about the fact that someone in her family, like we haven't heard about somebody in her family since they came out, or she hadn't heard from somebody?
Yes,
or
yes,
of somebody.
Yes, like the family kind of disowned them. Yep.
So
that would be perfect.
Miguel's coming back. And if not, I am going to be so mad.
If not, you wrote the perfect storyline if he wants to come back.
I really did.
I would be very excited to see that. I love Ricky Martin.
Yeah, so Mac's back.
I just loved like the family scene because it felt like him coming back to the family, and he said a couple of times about how he's so happy to be home or whatever, and it felt like he was talking about GH in general, not just
absolutely
whatever.
Yeah.
So we missed him. I'm so glad that he's healthy and good to be back.
Yes, he looks great.
Yeah.
I love that Robert and Anna were like the first two to show up, and then I guess he was spending all this time with Frisco, and Frisco acknowledges how much he messed up, like missing his girls, or what was it?
Yeah, Felicia made some kind of comment about, I'm sure that things were hectic here at times, that you wish you could have just gone off, or were lucky that you didn't just go off and start your own family. And he was like, what are you talking about? You guys are my family, and I loved being here. And Frisco admitted that he missed out on all this stuff with the girls and with you, blah, 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 blah. Which was like,
Felicia was with him for how much of that stuff? Felicia missed almost as much as Frisco. Almost.
Right. Yes.
Back in the day. She's definitely been more here.
Right. She's been a very good grandparent that Frisco has not been, but she was not a great parent. So that's what Mac was for.
And they told him that Jagger's back.
Yes.
Or he was like, Kate's like Jagger Kate's. And they're like, he goes by John now.
He's like, I'll talk to him. We were good friends. And I'm like, Mac, you're going to see him and think the same thing I did. Be like, that's not Jagger. What the heck?
Well, and I mean, Anna and Felicia were kind of telling him that too. Yeah. So things have kind of probably changed.
Yeah. And he didn't know that Spinelli was living there. So he got caught up on that. And they aged Bailey Lou like 2 years.
Did they though?
I don't actually know how old she's supposed to be.
I don't think they did, because she was born 2020.
Was she?
Remember, she was born right before COVID shut everything down.
Oh, okay. Then I guess they didn't age her. I didn't think she was that old, but all those COVID years kind of slide together. So I don't know how much time has passed. But yeah, it was cute seeing them all interact. And then it left the perfect opening for now. Cody is thinking about telling Mac that he's his dad because he sees Chase struggling with Gregory gone and Mac's still here and blah, 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 blah. And Tracy gave some great advice there too and was like, just tell him. And he's like, what if he's mad at me for lying? And she's like, what if he's just grateful that you're his son?
Yeah.
So.
And I don't think she has any clue who he's talking about.
Right. Exactly. It was just, here's my honest answers.
Yeah. Oh, but how sweet were Cody? So Cody brought James back, and I guess they're planning on doing a tree house or something. Oh, and Violet recommended doing a zip line.
And then a moat.
Yes, exactly. Oh, I thought you would appreciate that. Remember, Finn sent her with money.
Yes, I did.
For the play date. But yeah, I guess they were doing James jumped over a tree.
Yes.
And Tracy has a horse, Hades. Did we know that?
I don't know if we did or not.
Okay. But James doesn't like being at home because there's all girls.
Mm-hmm.
Aw.
He is at that age, so that must be torture.
Yeah. But then he wants Violet to sleep over, so.
Yeah.
Although Violet and Georgie, or not Violet and Georgie, Georgie and James bickering was, I mean, it wasn't cute, but it was.
Real life.
Yeah. And then what was James doing? He wouldn't put on sunscreen or something like that. And Maxie's saying something. And then Nina's like, your dad was exactly the same. Oh, and that's how we found out about the tree house, because he was like, does he like to build tree houses?
Yes. Yeah. They said that he missed like half of his body. And she was like, here, let me get where you missed.
That's right. With the sunscreen. That's where Nina's so sweet.
Right. She is a good aunt. Like, I'll give her that. But
maybe she should be focusing a little bit more on making sure that her nephew knows his dad.
That would be great.
Yeah. Rather than saying, "Who's your daddy?" to Drew. Or Drew saying, "Who's your daddy?" Whatever it is. I don't know how that word gets mixed into that at all. That's gross.
Yeah.
Sorry. What else? Oh, back to Blaze real quick. Lucy and Scotty have been going over Blaze's contract, and it turns out that Scotty has been working on Heather's case. And Lucy's like, "What the heck? I rely on you to be a lesser person." And he's like, "So at what point are her harebrained schemes different than your harebrained schemes?"
And she's like, "I never killed anyone."
Yeah. But apparently, if they can go back to where it was the manufacturer of the hip replacement is at fault, then the manufacturer can then subsequently be found at fault for all of the people's deaths.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That is. So we also see Diane go to Alexis, and Alexis is like, "Do not start with me about Heather stuff. I don't even want to hear it." And she's like, "No, I have a very important piece of mail for you." And so they go back and forth about Alexis can't open it. Diane will. No, Diane shouldn't tamper with her mail, blah, 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 back and forth. And then they open it, and it says that, yes, she has been reinstated, that she had to have 2 years of not having her license as like a disciplinary action, but it has already been 4 years since this case went to trial. So all she has to do now is take a class and retake the bar, and she is good to go.
Except for how Diane said it, it was very... The only downside is that you have a 2-year waiting period, and Alexis is like, "That's fine. I can do that. That's good." And then Diane said, "But the good news is,"
yes,
it goes back to considering. So yeah, you just have to catch up on a few CEs, and you're good to go. And then wasn't it Alexis talked with Chase and Brooklyn about Finn, and she was like, "You need to go talk to a social worker." And so then they're going to talk to Stella.
Yep.
And
did they ever tell Tracy that the social worker said that everything needed documented?
I don't know. Well, and that was the thing, is that who said it to Chase? Because he's like, "You want me to build a case against my brother?" And they were like, "You need to build a case for your niece."
That was Stella.
Okay. I'm going to go with no, but I feel like Tracy would, even if Tracy didn't know that from them, Tracy would, 1, know it. And also 2, Tracy would take those photos to show Finn.
Well, that's what I thought she was doing at first when she just took the first picture of him, like sitting there all slouched over. I was like, oh, she's going to take this and be like, "This, like you were found in even a worse position than this, and it was your daughter who found you. Like, you want to say how you're not affecting her now?" But then whenever she took the rest of the pictures, I was like, oh, she's documenting. And then her face changed where like you could tell she was sad that she had to document. And I was like, I felt kind of like the same way what you just said. Yes, Tracy would know that, but at the same time, like, I didn't remember Chase telling her that, like, "Oh, this is what we need." So
I don't remember them telling her, but I really do feel like she would do it anyway. And yeah, it's going to pain you, but sometimes showing people what they're not even quote aware that they're doing.
Right. And I feel like she just has confidence that she has really good attorneys with the ELQ and that she's a well-established family. And so it's not going to be like where Alexis said they may take her and her have to go to a group home or foster care or whatever, that Tracy's going to be able to just be like, "Nope, I'm certified foster care and we have plenty of space and room. And so we're just keeping her."
Yeah.
Or may even get Finn to just agree, like, this is your choice. Either she's guaranteed to be here with me and Chase, or you're risking putting her in a foster home, and or him at least be sensible enough to be like, "Okay, I would choose you over that." Oh, and then we talked about the kids at the pool. Joss was there again, and she told Gio that Trina had lost her boyfriend back in February, and he was like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." And then Brooklyn was teasing him about how great he is and that he needs to go practice and stuff. And so that's whenever we saw Cody and Sasha, like, all of a sudden they're all over each other, and then they move into the boathouse, and there's Gio
right.
violin.
Yeah.
And they're like, should we tell him? What should we do? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, we've seen enough people make out in that boathouse. There's like a lawn chair or a blanket or something that you could just move off the bench and be fine. Okay.
That's still super awkward, though. I mean, how about you guys just lay there and just like enjoy being with each other and enjoy the little private concert? It doesn't have to go any further than that.
Yeah, they did eventually. She said, hey, let's just enjoy the private concert.
Yes. Oh, we did find out at the birthday party that Gio's mom died.
Yes.
When he was 10.
Yes.
And that she's also a violinist.
Yes.
And I have to tell you, we have received so many comments on just resharing his Star Spangled Banner.
It was amazing.
It was so good. Very, very talented young man. Oh, and Joss said, so she's kind of maturing. I like that they're doing this. She said that she's going to talk to Michael in person instead of just texting him about the apartment.
Yes, but then we never saw that conversation. And
Nope,
then later
didn't.
she says to Dex, I can't help you with your volleyball stuff this weekend because I'm moving into my new apartment. How do you know you're moving in this weekend if you haven't even discussed if you're getting it or what rent is or any of that stuff? Like, you're already setting up movers, but you haven't talked to the apartment complex? No, that's not how that works.
Right. Well, it's the Quartermain's, not the apartment complex.
I know, but I mean, like, in real life, it's...
Right. Yeah.
It's an apartment complex, or it's the landlord, however you want to say it. But like, yeah, you don't get to pick your move-in date. Generally, they give you an open window and then you get to pick it. It's not just like, I'll be moving in this weekend.
Yep. Oh, but the thing that Dex needed help with is apparently the PCPD has a beach volleyball tournament.
Yes.
So we're not playing baseball anymore. We're just going straight to beach volleyball.
Maybe one is summer, one is fall, spring.
Baseball, summer. Remember, they always do it over the summer.
Do they?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Because then they always have their picnic or whatever, where all the...
Oh, you're right. Yep, you're right.
Oh, the one thing that I think this actually just might be it, and it's kind of just like a little side note that Stella, TJ, and Felicia... Oh, this is when Maxie was trying to get a hold of Felicia. They were talking about that there is a patient who's unable to work, too young for Medicare, can apply for disability insurance, but is having a tough time typing or holding a pen. And it's like they're talking about how they can help each other. And then TJ says it's a 5-month waiting period for disability benefits.
Yep.
If that's the expectation in New York, that's amazing because we're coming up on 2 years to just even get approved.
Yep.
And that's not unique to intellectual.
It's ridiculous. Like, I luckily have only dealt with it on the child side whenever my daughter was younger, and it was a whole process then, and no one was very helpful. Like we've talked about before, I flat out had attorneys tell me, like, you're not going to win this, so we won't even bother representing you. And I was like, okay, thanks. So I looked out and represented ourselves, and it worked out that we got it for whenever she was younger. But the adult side of it, like, I know people that it's like, how can you even question this? And they still find a way to deny it.
My daughter got denied when she was a child, and she was straight up throwing herself out of the back of buses. So
that's nuts.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nuts. Oh, we could talk about that for days, but
yep, we could.
Yeah. But I was glad to see that Felicia and them helped. Like, at least they had resources there that were helpful, because we also know that's not always the reality of how these things go. They're like, here's the paperwork, fill it out, have a fun time. Hope you got everything together.
Right.
So I think that's everything.
Mm-hmm.
Reality check.
So what's your reality check?
It was a pretty chill week because it was so darn hot. So I tried not to make any type of real plans. I did find, so Madeline loves to go to Sky Zone, and I'm not a huge fan of trampolines just because I know how dangerous they can be. But being that she does all this gymnastic stuff and dancey stuff and whatever, she flips around in ways that I question if she's going to die or not all the time. So,
well, that's good at least. I like Sky Zone.
She Thursday was supposed to be our Kennywood day, and it was way too hot. There was no way I was going to Kennywood. So I said to her, well, this should be like your special day. So what do you want to do? And so she asked to go to Sky Zone. And so at least our local one is like $23 for an hour and a half. Well, they have a summer membership that you get from now until the end of September for $69.99.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
Unlimited? Unlimited?
Yeah. You can go every day for an hour and a half.
Okay.
And they have special member parties that you can do on top of your hour and a half. So on Thursday, when we went, it happened to be a member party, and we went towards it was 5:00 or something. And so they were like, you can jump for your hour and a half, and then we're having this luau that they called it. And so she got like a lei, and she got a slap bracelet that has
Nice.
ice cream cones and the flowers that are in leis. And I was like, this is so fun. So she went that day, and then she asked to go back Friday, and I took her, and we went yesterday, and I'm pretty sure Ryan's taking her now. So we definitely have got our money's worth already. But on top of that, it's like, because it's limited to that hour and a half, and she's old enough to understand that, when the hour and a half's over, she does not throw the hissy fit or whatever. Like, it's just done, and we'll come back another day. And
tomorrow.
Yeah. So I'm like, I mean, most days I have an hour and a half that I can sit there, and like they have Wi-Fi and stuff. If there's something I need to do, like, on the computer or whatever, I can sit there and do it while she jumps for the hour and a half and wears herself out. And anything is better than being on the tablet, the phone, the whatever. So any type of physical activity. So yeah, I was like very excited. So we did that, and then we went to Denny's for dinner, and then we went to Eaton Park for dessert, which she thought was like so cool that we went to 2 different places, because that's just something that we never normally do.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I had Megan at the doctor on Friday for her heart stuff, and they finally agreed that there is an extra electrical current in her heart. So she's going to they don't even call it surgery because it's an outpatient procedure, but she's going to have the procedure done in August, and they just cut 2 little slices at the top of each of your thigh, and then they put the catheter up to your heart, and they burn the extra electrical current, and then they pull the catheters out, and you don't even get stitches where they had to cut the holes in your legs. They're so small, they just put a little Band-Aid on it, and she'll go home the same day. It's like a 5-hour procedure.
What?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That's bonkers.
Yep. So.
Wow.
But they said it cures 92 to 97% of cases. So
that's a very high.
Yes, because you can take. It's called SVT. You can take medicine for it, but then as soon as you miss a dose, then you'll have more episodes. And Megan's just not great on taking meds to begin with. So she was like, "Yes, I definitely know." She's done tons of research on it, which I was very proud of her for doing. But she was like, yes, I want this procedure, or if they have to, there's another way they can do it. That's like a whole open heart surgery. And I was like, yeah, no, we're not going to go that route unless we absolutely have
smaller
to.
First.
Yeah. We'll do the procedure. And then if it comes back a second time, then maybe you can talk about the open heart stuff, but no. So yeah. So one thing is done. She still has all the issues with the high blood pressure. We have an appointment coming up with GI and neurology and the kidney doctors and the girly doctor to see what's causing the high blood pressure, because it is not normal at 18 to have that disorder.
No.
But
that's just crazy.
Yep. But I'm just glad at least we're getting one piece of it solved, slowly chipping away.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah, that was my week. Besides that, just trying to avoid the heat. So.
You need to talk to someone?
Hold on 1 second. What? Okay. Yes, you're going, right?
No, did you talk about me?
Yeah, I just. Yes. Oh, I'll have to tell them that you got your. What's it called? Aerial?
No.
What's it called?
A front flip.
Front flip.
Can you give me a drink so I can go brush your mouth? What?
Nothing. I'm just waiting for you guys to go. We're trying to finish up recording, and y'all are just like.
Well, I thought you'd do that in her room because I can't find one because I brought another one. Because she told me that she wanted me to go because she's lazy because Ryan won't jump.
Well, she made a friend last time, so I'm sure she'd make a friend today, but that's fine. Make sure you take plenty of water with you.
If first timers not clean, can I use yours?
Yes. Just go. Goodbye. I love you both. Have fun. Sorry. Brief interruption by Madeline for her to.
I could see their shadows. So I was like, what's. And then you kept looking over, and I was like, you can just say, you gotta.
Well, Madeline is pretty good with like our own personal sign language. So she came in once or twice while we were recording and was like pointed at her socks, like we're going to the jump park, blah, blah, blah. And I just like thumbs up, like, all right, good, go have a good time. But then she just came in here because she couldn't find her deodorant. So she was like, can I use yours? And I was like, yes, but we don't really need to interact for that either. So what is going on? But
you go pick it up, Joe.
Right, exactly. just do it. But she wanted me to mention she's been practicing her front flip, like just like in the air, like flipping forward or whatever, which again is one of those things that when they're doing it over a normal floor, I'm having a heart attack that she's not going to get it and going to smack her head. So this week of being at the jump park every day, she's finally mastered it. So she cannot wait to get back into dance and be like, look what I can do.
Awesome.
So anyway, my kids like thinking that they're famous since we talk about them on here.
They are. People ask about them.
And they do. And I appreciate that. It's very sweet. So anyway, how about you? What was your week? Did you go front flipping at Sky Zone?
No, I spent a lot of time in the pool because it was quite toasty this week. We did our first kayak day of the season yesterday. Sold my best friend's house.
Congratulations.
In 24 hours.
I'm sorry.
Knew it was going to happen, but still. I honest to goodness, spent a lot of time at the pool.
Good. That's what it's there for. Your whole outback is beautiful. Oh, that's what you were going to mention.
It was. Yeah. Yes, it was. I mean, it still is. It still is.
It definitely still is.
Yeah, we had some crazy storms Monday and Tuesday. And on Tuesday, my canopy in my backyard died. We've had it. This would be the fourth summer, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah. So this would be the fourth summer. And the wind was a little bit too strong. To be fair, like I was on the phone with a client, like looking out my front window, and I thought that I saw like swirling around. Yeah. And then I look out back and it's about ready to go over. So I grab JD real quick and he runs out there and he's like, he and my son are like trying to hold it down. And I go out there and yell at them. I'm like, guys, let it go. And they're like, well, if it goes over, our next, like the side that it's on, that neighbor has an in-ground pool. So if this entire steel frame went over, it would shred. I was like, I really don't care. I'm like, there's lightning.
Right.
And so JD basically like stepped on it to keep it, to clench it, to keep it down. I mean, he had to do it, but
yeah, no, those storms are crazy. I was at the house that I babysit at, and they have one of those like baby trampolines for like toddlers, and the wind caught it and it was headed towards my car. And I was like, please don't hit my car, but I also don't want to run out there in this weather and stop it. So luckily it stopped a couple feet short of my car. But it was crazy that day, or both those days.
Yeah. So, I mean, hopefully it's supposed to thunderstorm here again today. So we'll see what happens, but I don't know. Yeah. That's about it though.
Did you lose power?
No.
That's good. Neither did we, but I was in Monroeville. Was that Sunday night was the first set of storms, and I needed to get dog food, and both of the pet stores were closed because the power was out. And so I was like, the dog will have to wait another day. So
my neighbor works for the electric company, so I'm pretty sure we have
nice connection.
I can probably count seriously on one hand in the 10 years that we've lived here how many times we have lost our power for like a significant portion of time.
Right.
I would say, okay, so did I lose power maybe for 10 minutes?
Right.
Not anywhere near where some of these people did. So
yeah.
No.
It's just concerning when it's so hot.
My child is now here wanting to share his news too.
The correct thing is we were holding the gazebo down. It did go airborne and it came back down, and that's where it got twisted.
It did get twisted. And yes, that's right.
It did go up. If we weren't holding on to it, it would have been in the next yard. And then it came down, and that's where it got twisted. And then for it to keep going, we just crunched it a little more. So it would go in.
Would just like to say, though, how much did we have to convince you that it was, in fact, coming out of the ground?
You did that. I saw it. I saw it. I went, yeah, that thing's moving. Yes.
No,
Hi, audience.
Monday night did not believe me so much. Tuesday did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, it's starting here again now, so hopefully we will both remain safe.
I know. So join us on Thursday as we talk more about Lila and her secret.
Have a good week.
And we'll meet at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.